Hi, I'm Siobhan Fallon Hogan, and I'm absolutely thrilled. And my guest is a good friend, Emmy Award-winning actress, Catholic, unafraid woman of power, Patricia Heaton. Patty, thank you for doing the first podcast.
Thank you for having
so excited.
me on.
So Patty and I met so many years ago, before you were a superstar and could actually walk around the halls of the world and not be bothered.
Yeah.
So I got on a plane. I lived in LA for all of 2 years because I never really fit in there. And I took a plane, it was 1990, out to LA. I stopped in Cleveland because from Syracuse to Cleveland there was no...
Right, no direct flight.
Exactly. And I met a fella from Cleveland.
Who I happen to have gone to high school with.
Yes. And
A good Irish Catholic
yes,
boy.
My parents were like, have you met anybody? And I had made muffins and we hit it off. And then I never heard from him again after we landed. But come to find out, he called me and said, I had a tumor and I couldn't call you after. He called me in March of that year. We landed right after Christmas, you know, and he said, I want to go to a play. My friend Patty Heaton's in it. And I go to the
And you're
play.
like, who?
And I'm like, what? Don't you want to talk about me? No. So I go to the play and I see this amazing actress. And then I looked in the program and I saw you had studied with William Esper, who I had studied with.
I didn't know you studied with Bill Esper.
Yes, And I thought you were brilliant. And then, of course, I said, this girl's gonna be somebody someday.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah,
Did you
I should have been a casting director.
Yeah.
So you go on to
Yes.
winning Emmys,
Yes.
Edward Loves Raymond,
Yes.
The Middle, and
Yeah.
all kinds of movies. But, cut 2 years later, I write a movie and I bring it out to Nashville for a premiere, Shelter in Solitude.
Yes.
And you contacted me.
Yes.
And you said...
Because I saw it on Instagram.
Yes, you
and
did.
I'm like, why wasn't I invited?
Why? And you said, could I bring 10 of my closest friends?
Yes, I did.
Now, I know, let's talk about that, because what I want to say about that is a very unselfish move for another actress. You were so supportive.
You think that was unselfish?
You're completely supportive.
I'm looking for a job. My whole
Okay, it was
MO
selfish.
was like, Siobhan's making movies. Maybe there's something in it for me. I better show up at her premiere and bring 10 friends.
But then we find out that in Nashville, where you'd recently moved,
Yeah.
tell about where your sister is.
Oh, my sister's a Dominican nun at St. Cecilia's Convent in Nashville.
Yes.
Yes.
And my friend from high school,
It's also in the in the convent.
Mimi Hopkins.
Yes.
And her 3 brothers are priests.
Yes.
And her other brother is a Catholic psychologist.
Yes.
So we have this so I'm like,
Yes, these connections.
yes. And I knew that you were really unafraid about telling about your faith, and it's very uncommon. But let's start at the beginning. So you were from a big family.
I mean, it depends on what you're comparing it to. When I was growing up in the 60s and 70s,
Small.
everybody, Protestants included, had 4 to 5 kids.
Right.
The uber Catholics had 9, 10, and 11
Oh, yes.
kids.
Yes.
Right? So I think today 5 kids would seem like a lot.
Right, exactly.
But it wasn't back then.
Exactly.
But my mom was one of 15.
Yes, my father was one of 11. And in
Yes.
fact, we'd go every 4th of July. 3 of my uncles were oral surgeons, so I used to brush my teeth all the way over for 4th of July. But you're right, I'm one of 5.
Yeah.
And it was always we're going to go see your cousins, they have 9. You're like, darn, they're so much better than us.
I know.
What the heck?
But those households were always so hectic.
Yeah. And
Right?
did your family was very Catholic, and you?
Well, my mom was one of 15. All of them got married and had between 5 and 10 kids. So I have like 100 first cousins on my mom's side. And her mother, my grandmother, was Catholic Mother of the Year for the United States and got a medal from the Pope.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. So yeah, and we, you come in and as you come in, there's the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
You're like, no pressure.
Yeah.
I gotta behave.
Looking at you and your friends mournfully.
You're like, behave.
Yes.
You're like, I want to make a wrong move, but I also don't want to go to hell.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. When you say, oh, you're so unafraid. No, I'm very afraid.
Oh,
Of him.
me too. Me too.
Like, I got to speak up.
It's like, well, I'm sorry.
Listen, Jesus says, if you deny me,
Exactly.
you're going to be denied. I was like, oh.
But Patty, don't you feel like at our age now, aren't you so grateful that you had that rudder to correct you when you
Yes.
were tempted?
Yes.
Lead us not into temptation.
Yes. But yeah, and I think you need to get back to that a little bit more.
Totally.
Well, and it's like people don't have a foundation. That's why you're seeing crazy, crazy stuff. Like, I think not only does Catholicism give you a proper fear of the Lord, and fear in the sense that the scripture meant, which is you're in awe of the, overwhelming
Yes.
his grace and who he is. So that kind of fear. But it also helps you to think logically and rationally from a Judeo-Christian foundation. So I think
Yes.
we have a lot of people today who are well-meaning, but they're very emotional, and they don't have a moral foundation from which to judge things and make decisions about things.
My Aunt Barbara lived in Arizona. She was one of the only people that moved to Syracuse, and she said, Siobhan, you know what I do, honey? You know what I do? I just do what St. Francis said. I just keep it simple, stupid. I'm like, did he say that? I don't think he said that. But anyway, I think that's key, and we were so lucky. And with the Blessed Mother as women, and I see you're beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's French.
It's French.
Uh-huh.
I like that. It's classy.
Yeah.
So I think that also having the Blessed Mother, I mean, we have a responsibility, don't we?
Yes, being women, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I had portion of my life where I sort of wandered in the Protestant wilderness. For
You
a
did.
while. Yes.
You took a walk on the wild side.
I did.
Or maybe not so wild.
With the Presbyterians. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Well, their
they're
music sometimes is really good.
I would say it's their teaching. I was living in New York City from 80 to 89.
Yeah.
That's how old I am. And we met, Tim Keller started his church. There's Redeemer Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
He is sort of like a modern day C.S. Lewis. He's no longer with us, but he is just, the way he unpacks scripture is superb.
Really?
He had a very anointed gift. Yes. And so at that time, I had been married in the Catholic Church, 3-year marriage.
You're in your 20s.
Yes, the guy left, got divorced, then married Dave, didn't get an annulment. So I couldn't receive communion.
Got it.
So then I just didn't go to Mass for a long time. So that's when I was going to the Presbyterian Church.
Right.
And then this lovely Opus Dei priest
Brought you back?
in LA, Father Paul Donlin.
Now, are you
basically roams Los Angeles looking for errant Catholics and grabs them
I
and
love
brings them
that.
back
He's
in.
like,
yeah, he's like, get in here.
Now,
Yeah.
now, at this point, were you on Everybody Loves Raymond, or
Yes.
Yeah, so you're full in. You're Protestant.
Yes.
And this guy finds out she was Catholic. Let's get her back.
Yeah, I met him through somebody else, and he came over every Sunday and did catechism. And Dave brought Dave in too, my husband.
So you're on. So how many times did this Opus Dei priest come? How many times do you have to come over before you to
a
took
couple
the bait?
of months, right? Yeah.
And what was the final click?
Well, he was just like, I think what really was great was he could get it all done in one fell swoop. He knew everybody. And he's like, there's a church in Inglewood that'll give us like a 3-fer.
Meaning like
You'll get back in, Dave will get in,
Dave
will have his
baptism, confirmation.
first confession, first communion. Yeah, we'd do it all at the same time. They had to do the annulment. They have to see if they can legitimately annul your marriage. So you have to interview. And so the Monsignor that was doing it, I was telling him, he goes, do you mind if we record these now, and then we have it put on a transcript? We have some nuns that do the transcripts. And I'm like, wait a minute, you have nuns that all they do is listen to people talk about
Imagine how
their
great
marriages
that would be.
breaking up.
There's a show for you. What am I doing a podcast? We should have these.
I just want to read those
We should have
transcripts.
The nuns. Like, what do you got?
Well, I thought, like, they must be so happy they went into the convent.
Oh my
'cause
gosh.
all they're reading is
Who
like,
needs TV? That would be great.
like marriage.
I mean,
no
I've read my
thanks.
sister's diaries, I'm willing to admit, but like,
Well, it was funny because I said to the Monsignor, I said, oh my gosh, they must think marriage is like the most impossible thing.
yeah, they're like, thank God I became a nun.
Yeah. And he said, you know what? As one of the nuns said to me, we weren't born nuns. Like,
Oh, that's so great.
Some of them had been married,
So,
whatever.
but Patty, your sister, the nun, must have been thrilled when she found out you came back to the church.
I don't know if I ever told her I wasn't
Oh.
in the church.
Okay, sin of omission.
Yeah.
You're like, I think I'll skip telling my
Wait,
sister.
I gotta go.
the
I
nun,
just
that
came
I'm
from
not a
confession,
Catholic
but I
anymore.
better go back in and tell them that.
Oh yes, I know. We might want to mention that Patty was late for this interview because she was in confession.
Yeah, but it was like the first time in many years.
But how'd it go?
It's good. I mean, Father Luke is so great. Another Opus Dei priest.
Oh, that's crazy. Did you know he was going to be Opus Dei?
No, He's friends
You
with
can't
Father Paul Donlin, who got us.
Stop
I think
it.
they're buddies.
Everything comes full circle.
Yes, it's crazy. The world is very small.
That's crazy.
If you give your life to God,
Yes.
it's very small.
Well, Patty,
They will get you.
That's what I'm saying. So this is what I want to talk about you, and really, obviously, I'm a huge fan, and you're such a hilarious. You have that gift of being able to be funny, but make people cry, and all of America. You just.
Oh, thank you.
People, and it's very difficult to go with you anywhere because people just grab you because they just feel like you're their sister or their
Right.
friend or
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to say that I go to Nashville for my movie Shelter in Solitude, and I put this out, and you contact me, and you said, "Can I bring 10 friends?" And my husband, yes. And you're on the red carpet, you're unbelievable. And then you said, let's do something together. And I said, well, now that you mention it, I did write a play, and I'd like you to play my sister. So we've been together
Yes.
on and off for the
Yes.
past 2 years.
Yes.
And it's so funny how things come full circle.
And you've written a script, rewrote a script that we're trying to get produced.
Yes.
About a Catholic family of women.
Yes.
Yes, a comedy.
A comedy.
Because we need more comedy.
Exactly, because there's funny Catholic women.
Yes.
Or funny-looking Catholic women, and that's good, because everybody can't be good-looking. I'm not saying who's not in these two chairs, but I'll let you judge yourselves. Anyway.
I'll tell you this story. I moved to New York City from Ohio after graduating from The Ohio State University.
Yes.
And I was, determined to become an actress.
Yes.
And I could not get arrested for like 9 years.
Are you-
I hadn't gone to Yale, I hadn't gone to Juilliard,
No.
I hadn't gone to Goodman, I hadn't been to any of these places.
Yes.
Right? I didn't know anybody, and it's a very small community there.
You're just
in
from Ohio State.
Just from Ohio State.
Chestnut State, and you're like, please.
Yeah. The Buckeye State.
The Buckeye State, yeah.
And it's the same thing, probably.
It
right?
is.
Okay. And so I stayed there for 9 years. I studied with Bill Esper,
Yeah.
as you
We
did.
studied together, yeah.
And then with a couple of those people, we produced 2 plays on our own, one of which I was in. And I was in that. I got great reviews in the New York Times, whatever. But still, I just couldn't get in anywhere.
Yes.
And 9 years, I started getting tired. And so Dave had graduated from Juilliard, and he was going to LA.
Your husband?
Yes. And he said, why don't you come with and produce the play in LA? So that's what I did.
Is that the play that I saw?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Secret Sits in the Middle about the 2 sisters at the
Yes.
abortion clinic.
At abortion clinic.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were spreading the word from the beginning.
Well, this is what happened. When we moved to LA, I just thought, I don't know how much longer I can pursue this.
Yeah.
And I was at Hollywood Presbyterian Church at the time. And I went on a little 3-day weekend trip to an orphanage in Tecate, Mexico. And we laid down a lawn and we fixed the sewage pipe and we threw a party for the kids. And I came back and I had this deep inner peace that I had never felt before. And at the time, Dave and I were not yet married. I was living in my cousin's girlfriend's mother's back bedroom in West Hollywood at like 29 years old.
Cousin's girlfriend's
Mother's back bedroom.
Got it.
That's how successful I was. at the age of
Believe me, I've
29.
couch surfed. Oh, believe me.
Okay, so nothing was happening
Oh, I
for
know.
me. I had a 1974 Toyota Corolla with a faulty starter that I bought for $1,500, but I had to put it on a credit card because I didn't have $1,500.
So great.
So then I come back, I'm laying in this bedroom like, oh, I feel so deeply at peace. I think I could forget trying to do acting and go back to that orphanage and work there.
Oh, wow.
And so for the first time, and I didn't realize I hadn't really given my life over to God. I thought I had. I grew up Catholic. I love Jesus. So I'm in this little back bedroom, and I think, okay, I'm going to give this over to God. And I knelt down, physically knelt down.
You're 29 years old.
Yeah, maybe 30.
Uh-huh.
And I said, Lord, I'm getting some auditions here, but I felt so much peace. I feel like I could just leave all the acting
Yes.
and go to Mexico and work for this minister there, this missionary. And so I said, I'm going to leave it up to you. So either open the door to Mexico and shut down the auditions, or keep the auditions coming and give me work.
Right.
I'll do whatever you want me to do. But it's the first time I think I said that.
And you think that God was like, whoa, 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 let's give her a part because she would be good at this in the orphanage, but we need her to be an
Well,
actress.
this is what's interesting. So I kept getting auditions.
Right.
And I started getting work.
Right. I'd say so.
Yeah, a little
The
bit.
heck.
Flash forward, I'm in Rwanda with
Oh.
World Vision at the 25th anniversary of the genocide.
Right.
And I've been working now for World Vision for maybe 6 or 7 years as
Yeah.
an ambassador for them.
Yes.
And going to places and then getting on Entertainment Tonight, and millions of dollars are being raised. Rachel Ray has me on her show, and
Yes.
then millions of dollars are raised.
Yes.
And I'm in Rwanda, and it occurred to me that when I asked the Lord way back in my cousin's girlfriend's mother's back bedroom to do one or the other,
That you're doing both.
he said, and I didn't know it at the time, okay, I like your little paltry request.
I like your idea.
Yeah.
But I got something bigger.
Yeah, we're gonna blow it up
Yes.
so that you're going to have both a big career and you're going to use it
To be involved.
to help feed people and bring Christ to people. And it didn't occur to me till that many years later in Rwanda. I'm like, oh, he gave me both on a scale I couldn't have
Well,
imagined.
that's what's so great about being at this, what do people say, woman of a certain age? You can look back and go, oh, that's why that happened. Like with my kids,
Yes.
I'm like, don't worry if something doesn't work out with a guy or something. This is all in the plan. So anyway, I remember being in my room in LA. I had a mattress and a lamp, and my sister said to me, you're 29 years
Yes.
old. Next year, if you don't have more, she goes, what's in your room? She calls me staircase. She says, what's in your room? I go, a mattress and a lamp. She said, if you don't have more than a mattress and a lamp next year, you got to quit acting. But I had that rosary with me. I would go to mass. I'd like, listen, this is all I got. What do you got? But I just feel like, and then a year later, by the way, when I turned 30, she said, what have you got in your room? I said, mattress, lamp, and a dresser.
Ah.
So I'm not quitting. No, but don't you, now, I want to ask you, the rosary, because I know it's very important to you. During that period that you were Protestant and left, did you still hang on to the rosary?
No, I had a real problem with Mary for a long time.
You did? Mm-hmm. Well, you
Just didn't get, because the Protestants are like Jesus and Jesus alone.
Straight to
and
Jesus.
Just to Jesus. Kathleen Madigan has a very funny bit. Have you ever seen that?
No.
About you're not to bother Jesus.
Oh, yes, I have seen this. I have seen that. But
She said these Southerners, because Kathleen moved to Nashville, which is where I live, and she had a whole thing about, you meet these Christians in Nashville, and they're like, hi, I'm a Christian. Are you a Christian? And I say, I'm Catholic. And she said, oh, well, we're Christian. And Kathleen says, well, I thought we said the same thing, but apparently not. And then she says, these Christians, they got a straight line to Jesus. They're just direct to Jesus.
Yeah, but don't they realize if you go to the mother and you say, listen, Jesus is really busy with these other people. Could you possibly talk to him? Because you are the mother. We need the Blessed Mother.
Right.
And my father used to say to me, now listen, Siobhan, you're an actress, right? Yeah, okay, good. Now listen, it takes 1 minute to be knocked off the pedestal. You are supposed to be, you have a responsibility to the Blessed Mother. So that's why, then when you finally got the rosary
Yes.
back and started to realize that the Blessed
Yes.
Mother was so important, how did that come about?
Well, there's a book called, it's a great book about Mary, and I think it's the Jewish roots of Mary. And one of the things they said was in the Old Testament, you have the Ark of the Covenant. So the Ark holds the word of God,
Yes.
of the covenant. Mary is the Ark, and Jesus is the covenant, and she had him inside of her.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
That's so great.
So I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Let me start talking to the mother.
And here's the thing, a lot of people complain about, oh, you go into a Catholic church. I was filming in a basilica in Natchez, Mississippi, and it is gorgeous, and it has every saint and painted
Yeah.
and statues, and I mean, it's glorious. And a lot of people in there were not Catholic, and I said, this is what we call, this is our history. We're not worshiping people. This is like being in a history book.
Yeah.
And this is just the people that came before us. It's what's the phrase they say? Maybe it was St. Paul that said, but it's like a host of what
like
is
a banquet.
Yeah, but there's a phrase for all the angels and saints and everyone that's around us. And
The kingdom of heaven.
yeah,
We'll go with that.
Yeah. But it's just reminding you that there's a whole universe, and it's
Yes.
like Paul says, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against principalities and powers.
That's
There's
right.
like a thing going on that we don't even see, and all these people are a part of it.
Don't you feel though, Patty, and like I feel so blessed with this EWTN studios and having this podcast that now we're at a place, like we might not have been afraid, but I feel like more and more people are not afraid in our business, and it's really getting better.
Yes.
I mean, as Catholics, I feel like we're like no longer the who's down in Whoville. We're like, we're back, we're here.
Yes.
And it's becoming cool.
Well, part of it is the world is so crazy right now.
Yes.
And up is down, and everything is inside out.
Right.
And you're meant to believe or to speak to things that
Just
aren't
be
true.
relative.
Yeah,
Relativist.
relativist, but
Yeah.
also just stuff that isn't true. And
Yeah.
you're supposed to acknowledge things that you know aren't true. So, and there's that's where, like Rod Dreher, a writer who talks about what happened in the Soviet Union, people had to just live in lies. And he has a book called Live Not by Lies, where
Right.
people had to just go along with whatever the government said, whether it was true or not.
Right.
And that's the beginning of the end, really.
Right.
Because you have to live in truth.
We have to live in the truth. And I think we also have to acknowledge that we have a thirst as human beings for beauty.
We're built for the Lord.
Right. And to create. God was the first creator. And if we're given this gift of acting, writing, we have to use it. And I feel we have a responsibility
Yeah.
to create and evangelize. But maybe not like my play that you're so fabulous in. We don't have to be perfect. We can be the Mary Magdalens,
Yes.
which you're so good at doing.
Yes.
Because don't we all love people that make mistakes?
Yes.
And they don't make us feel.
Okay, listen to this experience I had. I'm sitting in the kitchen one morning, Dave's in the bedroom, and I'm reading the last chapter of John, which I feel like I've read before. And Jesus is coming down the beach, and John and Peter are there.
Yes.
And they see the risen Lord, coming down the beach. And they're like, Lord, Lord.
They're like, this is good.
Yes. And Jesus says 3 times to Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Take care of my sheep. Do you love me? Blah, blah, blah. And Peter doesn't realize that he's being given the opportunity to reverse the denials that he had,
Right.
while Jesus was being scourged. He denied Jesus 3 times. Now Jesus gives him the opportunity to love him 3 times.
Exactly.
To acknowledge him 3 times. And the last one when Jesus says it the last time, do you love me? Peter says, Lord, why do you keep asking me this? You know I love you. And then Jesus proceeds to tell him how he's going to die. You're going to be stripped by strangers, and they're going to take your life, and
Right.
you're going to tear your clothes off.
Right.
And you would think that because he's standing before the risen Lord, that he would say, I don't care. I don't care, Lord. Whatever. I'm here for you.
Yes.
You know what he says? He turns to John and goes, what about him?
Peter,
I was like,
listen, I get it.
by the way, this is the guy who Jesus said, I'm building the church on you.
Listen.
That's what he said.
This is why I think God has such a good sense of humor.
Oh my gosh.
Like I'm telling you, I will get scripts and I'm like, oh, this is the one that's going to really put me over. This is the Academy Award. Then you get to like page 5 and you're like, can't do this.
Yes, right.
You're like, I have got to. I answer to a higher power.
Yes.
I don't care if this is going to make me famous and fill
Right,
my pockets.
right.
I can borrow money from Patty.
Yes.
I don't need all that money. Patty can share it with me.
But let me tell you this part of it. So I start, like, I don't remember this part of this scripture. What about him? Why did he just throw himself at Jesus' feet and say, yes, Lord, whatever? He turns to John and says, what about him? But not only that, here's how bad John is. John could have said, oh, there goes Peter again,
Yeah.
trying to throw me under the bus.
Right.
But I'm not going to write about it because I love John. I love Peter.
Right.
No, Peter's like, that's going in the last chapter of my book. Peter turned to me and said, what about him? He
He's like,
told
don't throw
on
me
him.
under the bus.
Yes. And
That's-
so I am sitting there and I start laughing. And it's a weird laughter. It's like this weird giggle keeps coming up for me, and it keeps coming up. And Siobhan, it turned into crying.
Oh.
And I'm in the kitchen weeping, and I went, what is happening to me? And I said, Lord, in my mind, Lord, why am I weeping? And you know what his response was to me? You're weeping because it's true.
Because it's true.
Because it's true. I'm showing you these were just normal human beings. And they are who I built the church on, and I'm building it on you too, and it's all true. Because if it was a fake religion, they wouldn't have Jesus just walking down the beach. He would arrive on a winged horse,
Yes,
with a flaming sword, and blah blah blah. He walks down the beach, and he has this really incredible conversation where that Peter and John just show how fallible and sinful they are.
Exactly.
And this is who he's building his church on.
And Patty, don't you feel like when you know that kind of truth, and then you take the real importance of life, and when it's all over, you know, like my play is about my mother's last day. That's the core of who we are, right? It's not like,
Yes.
I mean, you're an Emmy Award winner. You've got accolades. You can't walk publicly practically, and unless you're with me, and then I'll just put you in a headlock and walk you in the restaurant. But that this is so much more important than any accolades. It's like, this is what it is. So therefore, you're able to be free and state your name. And
Yeah, it's very freeing.
If you could tell really quickly,
Yeah.
before you had made it,
Yeah. Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
And you got a script that you disagreed with.
I've turned down things.
You've turned, oh, yeah.
When I had no money.
Me too.
Yes.
Because we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and we have to answer to God.
Well, and I remember I did a movie called Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Okay.
A really teeny part. And it was a married couple.
Yeah.
But they were kind of fully clothed. You don't see anything, but there's a reference to them having sex on the beach.
Oh.
Okay. And there, you don't see anything. It's nothing. But we all came. My mom died on herself, so it was just my dad. We're at the movies, seeing it together in Cleveland, and that part came up, and I was like, oh, my dad's sitting there. And afterwards, he said, yeah, it was pretty good, except that beach thing. I was like, that's why I'm fearful of God, but it was also like, I can't have my parents turning over in their grave.
Same. Saturday Night Live, I was like, I don't want my father to murder me. I have to live. I can't play this part.
Well, you know, do you know the wonderful actor Pat Finn?
Yes.
Okay. So Pat, we were having this conversation about growing up Catholic and what kind of roles you can do or not do, and how your parents, you have them in your mind when you're doing this role. And he said he was doing some part on a TV show where he had to be in bed with a woman.
Yeah.
And there was no actual, you know, graphic stuff.
Right.
But he's just in bed. And he has a T-shirt. He comes out set, he gets under, and he has a T-shirt on. And the director said, do you have a scar on your chest or something? Why are you wearing the shirt? And Pat told me, he was like, I didn't want my mom to see me in a scene in bed without my shirt on.
I totally get it.
I said that to him. I said, I know what you mean, Pat.
Totally get
I know exactly what you mean.
Listen, I mean, we're lucky to have those kind of rules. And that's why I feel like this EWTN Studios is a gift.
Yeah.
And we have a voice where we can just talk like this and say, being Catholic in Hollywood, we can do it.
Yes.
And whenever what do you advise young people when they say, Patty, is it too rough? Like, would you get into this now? Or
oh, now?
Yeah.
It's rough. Unless young people, it's easier for young people. But unless they have such a burning desire that there's nothing else they could do, I would say no.
But I think burning desire, but also if you have a burning faith that you believe that the Lord will take you in the right path, that there is a space for us. So I don't discourage kids. I'm like, grab it and go. You can do this. It's like a football player, like weaving in.
I get that, but I get it. I think it's a little tricky sometimes when people say the Lord is calling me to this. I never felt the Lord calling me. He made me this way. I just had it since I was little. Were you this kid that was like, I'm out in front, I'm singing for my class?
I was the last wheel in the proud train because in third grade I auditioned for the conductor, but they wouldn't let girls be the conductor. But I did get some reviews from the sixth graders that said, why was the last wheel going so fast? It would have derailed the train. So yes, I always want to be on stage. But I want to say,
like, I could not do it.
Exactly.
And it wasn't like there was a
no
word
other
from the Lord
choice.
that was in me. But I know He made me. So in that sense, I knew it was from Him. But it never was like, because I feel like there's some people, they see LA or maybe New York as a mission field.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, it can be kind of condescending. in
Yeah.
a way. Because the people that work in those industries in LA and New York, it's so hard and you have to be so good and you have to have a tough skin and you have to take disappointment day in and day out and you
Yes.
get insulted and and then there are some really great people and you can have the greatest project and it goes nowhere.
Well, that's
I
true.
mean, so I just feel like you can't go looking at it and think, I'm going to show the heathens.
No, but I think what you
There are some people that do that, that go in and say, I'm just going to show the heathens how it's supposed to be done.
But I believe, though, what you've done that's so great is you've led by example.
But the Lord gave me those, like everybody
Yes.
loves Raymond, you know, it just happened to be really well written, a family show. They were Catholic. They featured that in the show.
Yes. It's crazy.
I mean, the Lord just opened that
It's
for me. And it's the
beautiful.
same with the middle. A married couple, they go to church.
So unusual.
Reverend Tim Tom
Yes.
comes and helps Sue, the youth pastor on the middle. I tell you what, when I first read that role in the script, and I thought, oh no, they have a Christian youth pastor, and I started getting tense because I thought, is he going to be a perv?
Is he going to mock it?
They're going to
Yeah.
mock it, whatever. He was the sweetest, kindest, and I called up Eileen Heisler and Deanne Helene, who created the show.
Yeah.
And I said, you have no idea what this is going to mean to Christians.
Exactly.
Who are watching this show.
My kids were glued to that show.
Yes.
It was fabulous. So, Patty, you've shared with me in the past that you had a pretty traumatic childhood. And with your mom.
Yeah.
You want to tell a little about that?
Yeah. She had an aneurysm of the carotid artery when I was 12. And, you know, it's one of these things. We lived quite close to the Catholic school. So we could come home for lunch.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to pay for the milk.
Sure. And your dad was a big deal in Cleveland.
Sports writer for the Cleveland Plain Dealer, but
Yep.
hardly made any money. And, you know, you would pay like 10 cents you get a glass bottle of milk. And the rich kids got the chocolate milk because it was like 15 cents.
Yes.
And so, so we came home for lunch.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So, but one day I came home and she wasn't there, and the next door neighbor said, just come over here for lunch. And she had gone into the hospital then. And I knew something was weird because even if my mom hadn't been home, we could always just go in the house and make our own lunch. So I knew
Yeah.
something was off. And it took a couple of days for her to die. And I was kept in the dark about it.
Yeah.
My older siblings came home from college and they saw her. I had no idea what
You
was
were
going
12?
on. 12.
Yeah.
No idea what was going on. Myself and my little sister.
Yeah.
So about the fourth day, I walk home from school and the street is lined with cars. And you know, my mom was one of 15.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So I walk in the house and all her brothers and sisters and their spouses are in the house.
Right.
And I was like, what's everybody doing here? And it was just one of those weird, the thing I remember most about it is like my Uncle Frank, I think, was a little bit drunk. And he was like, hey, now they all know my mom has died.
Oh,
that's why they're
and you
there.
don't know.
I don't know. He comes up to me and he was like, what's your favorite subject in school? I hardly know him. English. You know what I'm going to do?
Oh, no.
I'm going to give you a subscription to the New Yorker.
You're 12.
12.
You're like, great. And you don't
He's
even
like,
know
"You're-"
your mother's gone.
No. It's all these
So
people
Irish.
milling around. So
So
Irish.
Irish.
And I'm like, okay. There's great articles in the New Yorker. So then my dad says, come upstairs. And I go in the bedroom and he tells me my mom has
Oh,
died.
so sad.
And I start screaming.
Yeah.
And my oldest sister comes up and says, be quiet, everybody can hear you.
Now, she the one who became the nun?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So now did you...
So, you know, it was that thing of like, we don't want any uncomfortable, awkward thing,
No,
right?
just keep it
Yeah,
normal.
and then the priest took us all into my parents' bedroom and he says, now this is going to be very difficult. And that same sister says, no, it's not.
Oh,
We're going to
no.
be fine. We're going to be fine.
So that's great. So now my play that you're actually in, and so fabulously playing my sister Mary, is about my mom dying.
Yes, I get choked up every time I get to the end of the play
Yes.
where they all start saying the Hail Mary and where she passes on.
Well,
I get choked up every time. Just talking about it.
well, the crazy thing is the play is a comedy.
I know.
But there is something I think it's so interesting to have something tragic happen to funny people. Because funny people aren't used to being the one crying or the sad one in the room. So they
Right.
try to remain strong
Yes.
and cracking jokes.
Yes.
Which is even sadder.
Right. And all comedy comes out of pain. Everybody Loves Raymond was about these painful relationships with Frank and Marie across the street.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how difficult it is to be married and have young kids.
Yes.
And the middle was about we never have enough money and everything's always out of control.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where all
we
the
both
comedy
studied
comes from.
Esper, which is,
Yes.
I don't remember the first day of school, of acting school with William Esper, they say, what is acting? And everybody's like, oh, it's pretending. And everybody's like, acting is living truthfully through imaginary circumstances.
Yes.
So when
Yes.
we do the play,
Yes.
and you've lost your mom.
Yes.
But this is a different, way on the other end of the spectrum, which my mom died at 97,
Right.
and all the sisters.
Yes.
But it's the craziness of Uncle Frank. It's like people are fighting over wine. They're saying, let's say, the rosary. They're fighting about the shifts.
Yes. My sister coming in and saying, everything's fine. Stop shouting. Stop screaming. Everybody can hear you. Shut up.
Yeah, it's crazy. But did you when those times come, everybody always says you either get closer to God or you fall. Like, how were you as a kid, as a 12-year-old?
Well, I think there was this thing. I felt a burden not to be a burden to my father.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got the 5 kids.
Yeah.
And so I remember like weeping into my pillow, trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
My dad comes into the bedroom at night and says, everything's going to be okay. And I just wouldn't even turn around to face him. And I was
yes.
just like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then I just went through, listen, all you have at that point is to hang on to God.
So what about your sister? How soon after that did she become a nun?
She was a senior at Kent State University then, and she was in the SDS, which is the Society for Students for Democratic Society.
She's like a
and
flower child.
Young Socialists of America.
No.
When the shooting happened at Kent State, she was just getting off the bus from coming from a Young Socialists of
my
America
gosh.
meeting. She's the one that became the nun.
Oh, thank God.
Yes. Well, because after my mother died, that made everybody turn more to the Lord.
Of course, of course. And that's fascinating.
I mean, I suppose
That's a
you could
rough
see where
feeling.
people would go away from it.
Yes, yeah.
You know, but
And let me ask you also, do you ever get signs or does your mom feel your mom's presence?
no, there was an executive who's a doll who I love from CBS, and she knew someone who was a psychic. And she said, she could come in and if you want to talk to your mom. And I said, my mother would kill me if I hired
we don't
a
believe in
psychic
psychics. We're
to
Catholic.
talk to her.
Well, let me ask you, but don't you think that the Blessed Mother then become, because she is our mother,
Right.
did you become closer to the Blessed Mother then?
Well, I'll tell you, when I had Sam, my
Yeah.
first kid, and he was colicky for the first couple months, at like from 2 to 3 o'clock every morning.
the
Like I'd
worst.
nurse him at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
He'd cry for an hour.
Oh, turn on the water, the blow dryer, the
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner.
I'm in the gliding rocker one night, and there's
Oh.
an unusual thunderstorm in Los Angeles with lightning that's shaking the house and thunder that's shaking the house. And he had finally fallen asleep, and I'm in the rocker, and I'm looking at him, sleeping quietly and listening to this crazy storm. And I thought to myself, it's so wild that the same God who created this innocent, very vulnerable child also created this crazy thunderstorm that could take your life.
Yes.
Same God.
Right.
And I thought, even if God threw me into the pit of hell, he is worthy of my adoration just because of who he is, not even any relationship to me,
Right.
but just because of who he is,
Right.
separately,
Right.
outside of anything else. So I started thanking him for who he is. Okay, this never happens to me, but I had like this woo-woo kind of, I don't want to say it was out of body, it's as if my spirit expanded out into the room and that I was sort of in his presence and I couldn't hold it. It was like, what is this? And I stopped thanking him and went whoosh back in. And I thought, what is that?
That's a true religious experience.
And then I thought, okay, I'll just keep thanking him. I started thanking him again. Whoosh! It came out. And I was trying to hold it, and I couldn't hold it. It was too much.
Yeah.
And I stopped. And I thought, I think, this is what our relationship is supposed to be. We're supposed to be in that kind of relationship and communication with God. Our spirit is supposed to be in communication. But in the bodies that we're in and the state of our soul, we can't handle it.
I'll tell you right now, people would kill for that experience. I mean,
Yeah.
have you ever had a religious experience? My sister Sheila is one of the best people in the world. She takes kids on pilgrimages. She goes see the Pope. And I told her about a religious experience that I had backstage once when I was doing a one-woman show, and I was like really nervous. I was praying, and I really felt the Lord, and I really felt I was having an experience. And you know what she said? That makes me so mad. That makes me so mad. You had a religious experience. I'm the one taking the kids to see the Pope. No, but
No.
that's amazing.
Well, generally, I feel like as a Catholic, here it is. As an actor, we can conjure up all kinds of feelings that are very valid. You know, we know how to get emotion going.
Right.
We do certain things. We think of certain things. We put ourselves in a certain place, and it comes up. So I'm very distrustful of that stuff. But those things happen when I wasn't trying to do anything. Like,
Well,
I can
also-
distinguish between...
I mean, listen,
know.
I'm not really deep, but that's very poetic. Like, I mean, you're holding a baby, which you've created. This experience comes to you, but also you've taken, you've created, and you create, continue to create, and you have Catholicism as your foundation. And it's inspiring for people because a lot of people fall away, and you came back and you did it with a vengeance. And sister, I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you something, Miss Patty.
Yeah.
You are a great example to Catholics.
Oh, I mean, the Lord is just there. If you are open to Him,
My
He's
sister
there.
Mary said her greatest dream in life was to have her sons standing next to her in the pew in church, taller than her, and passing her the missalette. And you know, it doesn't get much simpler than that,
Yes.
but that's a great testament
Yes.
to you. Well, Patty, I just want to say I am grateful. She's the best, and thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
God bless. And keep up
Love
the
you
good
so
work,
much.
sister.
Thank you. You too.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Siobhan Fallon Hogan, and I've been an actress for 555 years. What do you call these people that do this? Podcasters?
Podcasters. You're a podcaster.
She finally made it. Catholics and Cappuccinos is a conversational piece between myself and fabulous other Catholics and non-Catholics who are friends of Catholics.
I don't think that's a matter of religious science fiction now to ask that kind of question. Where are we going in history?
Is your husband Catholic?
Is the Pope from Chicago?
What I would like people to take away from this show when they watch is the joy of Catholics and the gifts of Catholics, of all the different people that are going to be on. Jonathan Rumi.
What do I do? And I looked up, and all I could see was the crucifix hanging above my kitchen. And so I just literally dropped to my knees.
Kevin James.
Because it is every day. It's all about sacrifice, and it's about, you're going to fall, but it's about getting up.
Yes, exactly, and having hope. What better way to talk to somebody than with a cup of cappuccino and talking about Catholicism?
Catholics and Cappuccinos,